Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachala Ramanaya Om. Welcome everyone. We are celebrating Bhagavan's arrival at Arunachala 128 years ago when he was a boy of 16 years of age. The importance of this day for all of us is that he showed us the path, pathless path of abiding in self. Once he came to Arunachala, he never left Arunachala. Once he realized self, he always abided in self. So this staying at Arunachala is very symbolic also that self-abidance is eternal. Once you know it, you are free from all bondages. Bhagavan did it to himself and later he did it to all of us. All of us can feel that bliss and peace of Arunachala Ramana. When someone asked Bhagavan at Virupaksha cave that who is he? He said, I am Arunachala Ramana. For me, Arunachala Ramana means both love and surrender. We get all this love from Bhagavan, his blessings, surrendering to him, surrendering to Arunachala. It is one and the same. Bhagavan's teachings are so easy, so simple, yet profound. If we stay constantly remembering his teaching, practicing it day in and day out, naturally we can stay in this pure self, in Hridayam, which is the center of our being. Bhagavan's grace is always on us. Grace is ever flowing. Infinite grace. To receive that grace, we have to be in our stillness. We have to give up our doership. Doership comes in form of thoughts and desires. Desires talk to us only in form of thoughts. Thoughts comes to us when we have identity with the body. This I am the body idea. But when we inquire and we reach the innermost core of our heart, Hridayam, we see there only Arunachala Ramana. None other than us. We are that Arunachala Ramana. Be in that and be peaceful and be happy. Stay in bliss of Arunachala Ramana. When we do this, this is the best offering to our teacher, our Lord, Bhagavan Ramana and Arunachala. Abide in self. Bhagavan's primary teaching is pure silence. When we pay attention to the self, we attain that pure silence. When thoughts are still arising, we can do self-inquiry as taught by Bhagavan. Once we arrive at self, we can pay attention to this self all the time. And sooner it becomes our natural state, effortless state, and all our efforts drop down. This is self-abidance. This is all grace of Arunachala, all grace of Ramana. This year, some of us devotees went to Arunachala, stayed at Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi's ashram for a week. And Advent Day celebrations at ashram was so blissful. We did Girivalam as everyone does, visited other temples, went to Virupaksha, Skandashram, and everyone was soaked in that blissful energy of Arunachala and Ramana. We were so nicely looked after by people at ashram, and we all were soaked in the divine energy at ashram. We had Satsangs there, bhajans, prayers, walks, and sitting in silence in Old Hall, in Samadhi Hall. We would like to share clippings of our trip to Arunachala, trip to Sri Ramana Ashram on Bhagwan's 128th Advent Day. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
One has given us very clearly that you start where you have to end. Rather than saying everyone is God, that's okay, that's very good, but feel that godliness in you. The moment you accept that you are that divine, that self is God, you are giving the utmost respect to that God in you, which is with you for millions of years. But how foolish we are. We go to temples and mosque or wherever we go. We put God there and come back home and play with our ego as us as separate from that. How much insulting it is to the God within you that you go to every place, you think every place is sacred, and you don't treat yourself as sacred. And which is with you all the time. The moment you change your attitude towards your own self, things starts unfolding. Magic happens. See the God within you. The biggest issue with seeing the God within us is then you have to behave like God. Then you can't discriminate. Then you can't talk cheap. Then you can't cheat people. Then you can't lie. Your whole personality is at stake. And that's why people don't do it. Because it's not easy. Because what makes us selfish is our ego. And what makes ego is these ongoing intrusive thoughts, one after other. Where they come from? They come from our conditioning. And if you keep accepting those thoughts and keep following them as a slave, you're in bondage. The moment you decide that I am the divine awareness, which is uninvolved, then how those thoughts can affect you? They will be more like a noise in the head. But if you don't pay attention, you don't follow them, they will be less and less and less, and finally they will just disappear. Even if they will be there, they are not creating any issue to you. Now your mind is your slave, and the mind merges in that bliss. I think we all have seen that when we are stressed, it is because of thoughts. But some people can argue, say, oh, I love these thoughts, I am going there with that beautiful lady, or dreaming. Some people do daydreaming, or they think I will be there. If I don't have intention to be there, then how I will be there? That's what people say. If I don't have intention for success, then how would I would be successful? And I agree with them. If you don't have intention to reach somewhere, probably you might not be the best in that field because you are not putting all your energy into it. But what do you want? Do you want peace or do you want success? You have to choose. You see people who are successful at the top of anything, how much stress they have gone, or do you think they are happy? Ask them. An Olympic winner, a gold medalist, next Olympics also wants a gold. And if he is unable to achieve, he's worse than before. But who understands these things, So I believe spirituality is for very, very small group of people. So if you try to apply spiritual rules in daily life for a worldly person, you cannot. So there is no point in arguing with anyone. First thing is this. And most important thing is, I have met so many seekers and they are in their dual mind. They want this, but they don't want to leave anything else. They have fear of losing what they have already gained. And this is what the ego is. It is all a mind construct. It's not that the moment you give up possessiveness in you, everything will go away from you. Maybe it might multiply, who knows? As Bhagavan puts it down beautifully, that whatever is in your prarabdha, you will get it. It will make you do things what you have to do, even if you are a lazy person. Or if you put your hard work and in your prarabdha, you can't get that, you can't achieve. No matter how hard work you do, you will not get it. So how beautiful this line is. And people keep arguing about it. I said, just accept it, you will be in peace. If there is no I identifying with the mind-body complex, all your past stories and future projection of this body's stories have no value for you. Because until now we have invested so much for this body, whatever we have done with this body. And to lose up that identity is very difficult. There are two types of death. One is death of the body, when we die. That is incomplete death, because only out of panchkoshas, 5 sheaths of the body, only the gross body, sthul sharir, has gone away. Rest all of them are there. So this is not a death. For a complete death, you have to kill your ego. Bhagavan says mano nasha. Because if man goes with you, man actually, your mind creates another body because unfulfilled desires or unfulfilled issues with people. These unmet desires leads to another birth and then another birth. Unending cycle of birth and death. So if you want complete death, which looks odd to most of the people, you have to kill your ego while alive. Ego is this identity. So we call it Hriday Granthi. It's a knot in the heart. Because the mind is in the heart. I just want to explain you. I'm talking from Bhagavan's point of view. I have not made any my own personal concepts about this. Actually, I have no concepts about it. Mind is here, heart is here. You choose heart. You stay in your heart. You stay in awareness, being aware, uninvolved, witnessing, sakshi bhav. Keep practicing. Ego is mixed in it. You suffer, and you are involved, but you keep slowly and slowly, when you keep that practice constantly throughout the day, a time will come that you start feeling peace. As if now you have moved out of that identity. Because you are just paying attention, trying to be witness. Though you are not witness, you are just knowing things happening, but you are involved. It is only acknowledgement. From acknowledgement, witnessing starts happening. And that with that comes peace, and profound peace and silence. I also have to tell something about further advanced seekers. I know in this group there are people who are having grace of Bhagavan, and I was talking to Kavita ji, and she started having dreams 4 years ago that she's a baby and Ramana Maharshi is holding her hand and taking her and then reading book and all. And then she was told that she was that Indra. I don't know how many people know about Indra, and where Bhagwan, she said about the life and death, and Bhagwan gave her a mantra. Naham, usko. Sorry? Yeah, Naham Deham, Koham Soham. And she died young. And there is not one coincidence in her life. Her daughter's name is Indra, because she just gave me the call and I called her, come, your daughter's name is Indra and her mother's name is Indra? Your mother-in-law's name is Indra. And she told me so beautiful experiences of her life in last 4 years. And the explanation of every satsang further, whatever she listens, and her experiences with silence and in that shunya and spurna in your heart. I heard somewhere that Nisargadatta Maharaj said that I agree everything about Bhagavan except that there is nothing like spurna. And I completely disagree with Nisargadatta Maharaj. That was the first thing, even when the things started happening to me, that I felt this is spurna in the heart. And even now, sometimes it's so vibrant that the whole body is on vibration. Because that energy is that vibration, And she was saying to me, it feels here, and and it's not just, I have heard from hundreds of people. Maybe the people who follow Bhagwan's path, they all have spurna. That's what I believe. There must be some, this is truest. Bhagwan has not, he's not saying that it is an individual experience. I think it's a universal experience. The Western world has created non-duality as a very separate thing, and don't talk, devotion is like nothing, and they call it New Advaita. I think someone says it's called New Advaita. I will call it nonsense, because without devotion nothing can happen, That's why people never have faith, because to develop faith you have to have devotion. When you have faith and devotion, then you take that practice seriously, and then you know that I know my Guru has power to do it. He will do it, and then it will happen. So it is very important, In Arunachala Puranam, there are so many sayings of Arunachala, that you become my devotee and I will give you moksha, or you stay here and I'll do that. How many people believe in it? We are all here, we have actually seen Arunachala, no? We have done a Girivalam also. Some people have come here multiple times. And if he has promised that even if you once think about me, I will give you moksha, then accept it as the truth, absolute truth. It is not happening because we have a doubt. We means the mind. And with devotion, that doubt goes away. You become so strong because you get all those experiences, some milestones, some internal understanding develops so deep that nothing can deter you, can move you from there. It is a process. I think it takes time, but it definitely happens. And I would say you keep practicing. What Bhagavan says, self-inquiry. Self-inquiry, I believe, is more like when a thought is coming and you're entrapped, and then you say, whom am I? And then you get into the silence. But once you know that silence, then I think the next step is just observing that silence and not engaging with thoughts. And this practice gets deepened and deepened. When something is more emotional you are attached to, then you can get agitated, and then you see it, and then immediately you can withdraw from it, and your reaction is less to things, and you become non-reactive, you become more settled. Still there will be some odd personality trait will be there. If you like gulab jamun, you will still love gulab jamun, you will jump for it. These things doesn't matter, choice of clothes or whatever it is. But at that emotional level of thoughts which binds us, which are strong, will go away. So that is what our personality makes us, a jiva, a soul, an individual. That dissolves. When that dissolves, that energy flows, and it moves in a way that when someone else sees you doing things, they think you are thinking and doing. It is very hard to make. So when something happened, I was looking for someone who was not there. I tried to find that person's room. I knocked, and then that person's room was open. So someone was saying to me, "Oh, you must be stressed with these. So where your thought would be negative thoughts would be coming to you. Oh, you must be agitated." Because you don't know, there is something intuitively moves in you in a way by which you decide, or something decides for you. Nobody can explain it. Like sometimes there's no reasoning for anything. The person with a very, people are sometimes very planned people. They plan everything. 5-year planning, 10-year planning, home planning, finance planning, everything there is planned. And when something goes wrong, then they are depressed. Because there is a divine planning already from prarabdha karma. Huh? Sometimes our planning and the divine planning goes together. So we are happy. When it goes opposite, then we are unhappy. When it goes the way what we thought, divine planning goes the same way, we take proud that, look, I have achieved, I am smart. And when it goes away, then we say, I have bad luck and God is not kind, and So when it goes wrong, we blame God. When it goes right, we take all the pride. No, this is ego. This is the first and last sin, and this only we can remove. No one else can remove. So we have to keep working on it all the time, all the time, all the time. And the good thing about it is that slowly you will start understanding there are two things. You have to give one to someone else and one you have to keep. Very naturally the ego wants to keep the good, when nobody is seeing. And you do it, but then the person who is a seeker will actually do the other way. Pick up the good one to give others, and then you feel, oh, why I am doing it, and let it be. But I'm just telling you, very small things are there, techniques. Like I'm calling them as techniques because now you're aware, and the ego behaves in this way because this is, ego actually fulfills needs and wants of this body. And the God fulfills needs and wants of everyone. This is the difference. For awareness, everyone is equal. Everyone is important. No one is less or more important. Whether they are animals, human beings, or even inanimate things. Everyone is equally. Because everything is equal share of the same. Make this body as instrument of God. That means that the person living in it has to disappear. Because all questions, whatever happening to you, are happening in that person mode, in that ego mode, in which I am this body, there are other bodies, and this is happening, and why all of us in bondage. It is a dream. There is nothing except but a dream. But the problem with this dream is you have to put efforts. The dream at night, the mind comes out of it and then puts us into this dream. And then this dream continues. Everyone is in this dream. Intellectuals, everyone, like people you appreciate in this world who have achieved, everyone is part of this dream. But in whose dream are they coming? In your dream only. So it is your responsibility to wake up from the dream, not anyone else. Like you are sleeping and dreaming, and then you say that I will get out of the dream, when all these people in my dream also get out of the dream. You have to contemplate on this all the time. People think it is easy. It is very easy, just as Bhagavan said, Ati Sulbham. But you have to follow the basic principles of Vedanta. Basic principles never change for anyone, whether they believe in Vedanta or they don't believe in Vedanta. One of them is Vairagya. We all know Vairagya, detachment. Vedanta goes to an extent that even a saint living in forest, taking care of a deer who was almost was being killed by a hunter, next birth he became a deer. There was a story about this enlightened person. At last he just wanted to show, he saw a mango on the tree just before death, and he became that small insect. And the disciple killed that insect immediately. All these tells how sukshma Maya is, how it catches us. And we have thousands of attachments and desires, unending. We are actually on the path of increasing it. Though we say we are on the path of spirituality, but at the same time, this ego is collecting more attachments and desires, maybe even on a spiritual path. So this awakening from this awakened dream needs vairagya, detachment from everything. Everything. And vairagya with mumukshutva, like you are really, longing for it. You just know, you're like on a fire. And you cannot be satisfied by anything except that knowledge. Vairagya, and with this mumukshutva, and the shad sampatti, all those things in that, they are important. But I believe vairagya develops when you have longing for it. You live in family or you don't live in family, you can still be attached to things. It's not that brahmachari or someone who is not having a family is completely detached. You know that. So that detachment comes when your energy is within, inwardly directed. When our energy is inwardly directed, and so much directed, that even this vichara doesn't come that because of my internalization, my family is suffering or my spouse is suffering or someone is, you are so, nobody can hold on to you. We always feel we are trapped in our family and we want to get out of it. If the vairagya is really, really strong,
Whether you live with a partner or whatever, nothing can hold you. When you are in that fire, no emotional attachment will be there, and so nothing can hold you from knowing that. So where there is no point in even leaving. But if leaving has to happen, that might happen. That is what Bhagavan said. If it's ordained that you have to leave family and run away, if that happens, just accept it. But don't make a planned decision for something like that from the ego. If it happens, it's not a big deal. When we think our family is suffering from my vairagya, that means there is some attachment. We still feel my family, and we are still in both boats, one leg in one leg in. All this family, all this what is happening is my dream, coming projection of my mind. Others are getting freedom or not, or others will be in bondage. There is that Paramatma, that Absolute, taking care of everything. You don't have to worry about it.
In India, they say that after 840,000 births, you get a human birth. So it's such a rare thing. And to know the divine in you, you have to have a human birth. But Bhagavan has even challenged it. He gave realization to animals also. But anyway, let's believe that it's the rarest of rare thing which Bhagavan could do. So in that sense, you should have more faith on Bhagavan. If he can do on animals, I am still a human being. I should be able to understand more because I know a language also. And the second important thing in human birth is your interest in spirituality or in God or self-realization. And I believe that is also everyone, that's why everyone is here. And the third and the last important thing is to have a teacher, and which we all have. If these three things are there, nobody can stop you from liberation. So I think we are all so much blessed, and we should feel good about it rather than feeling that how it will happen. Now, how it will happen is his responsibility, not our responsibility. We have surrendered, we have interest, he knows, he is in our heart, he is antaryami, he knows more than what we know about ourselves. Our mind can deceive us, it deceives all the time, it shows, portrays that we are good, others are bad. But that self knows how good or bad we are. So we can deceive ourselves, we can deceive others, but we can't deceive God. Once we are ready, they say, aap pratiksha mein ho, you are in waiting. You are in waiting. It will happen. If you are the right person for that, he will do it. But he has given you some method, you do it. You know why we do methods? Not for self-realization. People think that you do self-inquiry, you will have self-realization. This is not right. I'm not quoting from any book, but this is my experience. It is just to get more grace. When, let's say, parents have asked a child to do this and then I'll give you that thing, chocolate. You do that thing to get that chocolate. So you are just doing it. But don't do with the doership. People talk like this, I sit for 2 hours, nothing is happening, what should I do? Doership should not be there, even in the practice. Just do because the Guru has said to do, that's all. Don't use too much of mind
and don't look for results all the time. Like you put a seed, and every week you just take out and see how much seed has grown. The seed will die. You have put the seed, you keep watering, put manure, give sunlight, and wait, and it is happening. You will only see when it comes out, So just take time. It takes time. In everyone's case, it takes time. And in some cases, it just happens. So depends whatever practice you have done in the past. Our thanks to Ramana Ashram, who has given us this space to be here, to stay here, to have food here, to conduct satsangs, to give infrastructure with all of their love and their best service to us. So we are all deeply, deeply grateful to Ramana Ashram management. And of course, we are all grateful to Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, who has entered in our heart, who is doing all this. And people congratulate me, congratulate Arunachala. He has organized everything for all of us. Without his permission, nothing can move. All is his action. Nothing is our action. We cannot have any action. We can't do anything. And we all know this. He does through us all the time. We just have to recognize this truth. That same truth in all of us, we have different names for it. We call it God, our Father, someone can say our Mother, Brahman, awareness, self. All means the same. You might have seen that picture of Hanumanji opening up his heart and then Ram is sitting there. This means that it is this in Hanuman. So Hanuman and Ram is same. That he has found Hanuman has found Ram in his heart. We all have that Ram in our heart. All these things are very symbolic. We need to understand this and learn from this. And then see how Hanuman got Ram. By constant devotion, constant bhakti, constant prayer, constantly saying Ram, 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 Ram. They say wherever you take name of Ram, Hanuman comes there. And he is here right now when I'm talking about Ram. And they say if you want to please Ram, you please Hanuman. So what it means is if you want to please God, you please his devotees. Be the devotee of devotees. Appreciate people who come here, who have devotion. Do best what you can do for them. That is why in Indian ancient tradition, we feed sadhus, and saints and sages. It is an old age tradition. Even in Ramana Ashram, they feed all sadhus. And outside you might see a lot of people are feeding sadhus. Don't judge those sadhus whether they are having smoking something or they are beggars only. He has to decide. If they are wearing ochre robes, you can give them food. At least food you can give to anyone. In Melbourne, we have societies and we distribute food to homeless people, to primary school people, primary school students.
You think that in developed world people don't need food? They need food. Some people are incapable, they don't have money, they have psychic issues, their family issues, that they don't feed their kids. They come to school and they are not, they have no breakfast. So breakfast clubs are there. Giving food is such a good thing, such a good act. Annadanam. And look at ashram, they give so much of food to so many people every day. How beautiful it is.
Lord Ramana, Lord Ramana, Lord Ramana.